This 2025 movie features zombies that are not only fast, but so fast they can catch a running airplane in minutes. Not only that, some zombies have become somewhat intelligent, they can track enemies thousands of miles away with their sense of smell and break through strong human-made forts. But let's not talk too much, let's start the movie. A little boy is watching cartoons at home when suddenly the TV signal goes out and an important news report appears on the screen. The news states that an unknown virus has spread worldwide, turning infected people into terrifying zombies within minutes. This virus spreads very quickly and many cities have been destroyed. The boy is watching all this carefully when suddenly a noise comes from the upstairs room. He goes upstairs cautiously to check and finds out it was his older sister's prank. Just then, their father, who is on duty outside, video calls them. He tells his wife and children to go to their relative's house away from the city because the zombie virus had spread in this city too. Little girl Evie smiles seeing her handmade lucky bracelet on her father's hand. Meanwhile, the mother has packed their bags. Continuous screams are coming from outside, so she doesn't waste a moment and takes her two children out of the house. As they are about to get into the car, a zombie suddenly grabs the mother. Evie immediately hides under the car and watches her little brother die at the hands of the zombie. The little girl is trembling with fear and then sees that her mother has also become a lifeless zombie and is heading towards her. Just then, some gunshots are heard and an uncle appears like an angel and saves Evie. Later, he tells the girl to cover her ears and also shoots her zombie brother. Now, 10 years have passed, and human civilization has been completely destroyed due to the zombie virus. Once magnificent cities have now become ruins. The little girl Evie has grown up, and Uncle Cassius has trained her to be a jungle warrior. Having lived in the jungle for so many years, Evie longs to live among people. Her biggest wish is to find a human settlement where she can live. However, for Cassius, the best place is a deserted island far from land. Just then, in the darkness of the night, Cassius wakes up to the sound of an alarm outside. He cautiously steps out of his tent and a zombie attacks him from the darkness. But Cassius continuously fires bullets and kills it. Both are very sad because zombies like to live in hordes, and there must be more zombies nearby. So, before dawn, they pack their bags and prepare to leave. Just then, their horses start neighing. Cassius understands that danger is near. Both look around and see a jeep surrounded by zombies in the distance. Cassius initially doesn't want to pay attention, but Evie shoots without saying anything. So, reluctantly, they have to kill the rest of the zombies. Then, when both go near the jeep and start taking necessary items from there, Cassius takes the dead man's shoes. As soon as he puts them on, he hears a walkie-talkie voice from inside the car. It turns out that the dead people have more companions. Cassius immediately wants to leave from there, but the next moment, some SUVs arrive quickly, and many armed people surround them. Some people find Cassius's discarded shoes, which makes them think that he killed their companions. As tension rises on both sides, a pregnant woman gets out of the car and asks her companions to let Evie and Cassius go. Just then, the black horse warns them again, and the next moment, a roaring sound comes from the distant forest. Many zombies, like a flood, start moving towards the valley walls from all sides. People don't have time to escape, so they take out their weapons and fight there. A female zombie had the power of thought and was watching her companions fight. The remaining people have nowhere to hide, and soon their numbers start to dwindle. A strong man unfortunately falls victim to a zombie bite. He wants to shoot himself, but runs out of bullets. Just then, Evie grabs the pregnant woman and puts her in the jeep. Cassius retreats while fighting and kills that intelligent female zombie. Then he drives fast and gets out of the zombie horde. A black-faced zombie roars at the dead female zombie as if his wife had died. Meanwhile, Cassius saves the pregnant woman and her husband from the zombies and takes them away. Upon asking, it turns out that these survivors wanted to go to a safe place called Shipton. Hearing this, Evie becomes very happy because this is the place she always wanted to go to. After determining the direction, Cassius is about to drive when the car breaks down in the middle of the road. The pregnant woman's husband gets down and introduces himself. His name is David and he is a mechanic. But due to lack of parts, he won't be able to fix this car. Reluctantly, Cassius and the others decide to continue on foot. They proceed straight along the hilly path and soon reach the city of Evie's birth. Here, tall buildings are still standing, but there is a deathly silence everywhere. Cassius finds an open building and decides to spend the night there. After making sure there is no danger nearby, they light a fire and cook food. Evie is very curious about the place called Shipton. The pregnant woman had already contacted them wirelessly. As the name suggests, Shiptown is made by connecting several large ships. It is not connected to land, so it is very safe. There is plenty of water and food here, so it is a dream place for the survivors. Evie's eyes light up hearing all this, but Cassius is not interested. He has no time to waste, he wants to lay even more warning signs and bomb traps outside. After setting everything up, Cassius tells his further plan. He will drop Megan and her husband some distance, and then both will go their separate ways because his goal is the harbor located in the other direction. Evie gets very upset and secretly goes to Cassius and argues with him about why he is not coming with them to Ship Town. Cassius wisely says that where there are more people, there is more danger. But Evie doesn't understand human evil and Cassius's point at all. She argues with Cassius a lot and then goes upstairs to spend the night alone. However, neither of them knows that the black-faced zombie has found them by sniffing their abandoned car. It seems that the zombie leader has decided to challenge Cassius. The next morning, Evie is looking at her childhood pictures when suddenly she hears rustling sounds from the trees below. She understands that zombies have entered and is about to run down to warn everyone, but she encounters zombies on the way. However, she reacts very quickly and dodges a chasing zombie, but in doing so, she loses her balance. Just then, Cassius appears again and once again saves her from danger. A little later, the black-faced zombie arrives with his companions, but they fall into the trap already laid. Cassius hears the sound of the explosion and understands that the zombie horde is after him. Just then, Evie suddenly remembers that there is a small airport a little distance away. Her father used to take her there often in childhood, maybe some airplanes are left there. This would save everyone several days of travel. Although Cassius doesn't have much hope, he agrees to go there at Evie's repeated insistence. After walking a short distance, the small airport Evie was talking about appears, but everyone is very disappointed because everything there is empty. Not a single airplane is seen. However, Evie doesn't give up. She remembers that her father had bought a private hangar, which now looks like a small mound and is very well hidden. After opening the door in the old way, her father's small airplane is indeed standing there. Evie smiles happily. Finally, she proved her point to Cassius. However, this airplane had not been used for a long time, so the mechanic David says it needs to be repaired. Cassius and Evie stand guard in a tall building in the distance. They haven't even sat down properly when they see many zombies coming towards them. Cassius immediately runs to tell Megan and her husband that they have to take off within 3 minutes, even if David hasn't completed the repairs. Seeing the zombies approaching, Evie puts all thoughts aside and manages to start the airplane with her blurred memories. However, by then many zombies have reached the runway. Their speed is like that of a fast runner, and they are almost catching the airplane. Just then, Cassius shoots a climbing zombie, and Evie finally understands the controls and calmly flies the airplane into the air. The black-faced zombie king looks up at the sky, and there are many emotions in his eyes. Everyone in the airplane is very happy because they will soon reach Ship Town directly. But the next moment, smoke starts coming from the back of the airplane, and then it falls straight to the ground. Fortunately, they are quite lucky, the airplane was not at a high altitude, and its speed had slowed down due to multiple collisions. All 4 people suffer only minor injuries, but the airplane is no longer usable. They will have to continue on foot. Walking, they reach a deserted railway station. After making sure there are no zombies nearby, Cassius decides to spend the night there. The harbor and Ship Town are on the other side of the mountain. All 4 can walk together for some distance. After seeing his pregnant wife, David goes alone into a compartment. He pulls up his pant leg and shows a terrible mark. Actually, he had been bitten by a zombie a few days ago. David knows that he will soon become a zombie, so he wants to shoot himself, but he abandons this idea thinking about his future wife. The next morning, Cassius finds something strange about David. He takes the opportunity to pull up his pant leg and sees the zombie bite mark. However, Evie, who is walking ahead, is telling him to hurry up, so he abandons the idea of killing David there. It gets dark while walking, and ahead they suddenly see a farmhouse. Cassius quietly takes out his gun and moves forward. Just then, a warning sound suddenly comes from the speaker on the door. Upon confirming someone inside, Evie calmly steps forward and says that she has no ill intentions. They learn that they have a pregnant woman with them, so the homeowner's suspicion is cleared. After collecting all the weapons, the old man hospitably invites everyone inside the house. They had installed a solar power and rainwater filtering system here. Evie finally gets to take a hot bath. After eating a delicious dinner, Cassius charges his laptop. It contains his pictures with his wife, one of which is from when his wife was pregnant. After seeing the pictures, Cassius goes to Megan and says that he has changed his mind. He will first take her to Ship Town and then look for the harbor with Evie. Just then, the homeowner gives everyone wine, and after so many days, everyone gets a chance to sit comfortably and talk. But as they talk, they notice something is wrong. The homeowner says that zombies are the next stage of human evolution. They are the greatest predators, so they should rule the earth, just as humans previously hunted other animals out of greed. Hearing this, everyone is shocked. Only David feels his condition getting worse, and he goes to the bathroom. The virus has completely spread in his body. When David returns to the hall, he sees that Cassius and the other two are unconscious. The homeowner immediately presses a button on a device he is holding. David suddenly feels very weak and falls to the ground. When David gets up again, he sees that he and his companions have been hung. Actually, the homeowner had mixed sedatives in the wine, and that man was actually a scientist. After years of research, he had created a special device that can control zombie behavior with low-frequency signals. And Cassius and the others caught in the trap are his experiment subjects. After saying all this, the scientist opens the cage door behind him. His wife, who has already become a zombie, is locked inside. He flips the switch and the zombie actually attacks Cassius. But David breaks the rope with the power of the virus and ignores the device's control to save the tied Cassius and the others. The homeowner senses danger and immediately escapes and soon disappears from sight. Cassius doesn't want to stay there any longer. He finds a car outside and takes everyone towards the dense forest. But the homeowner is not going to give up so easily. He controls the zombie horde with his device and makes them chase. Cassius keeps increasing the car's speed, but the road ahead is blocked. Now they have no choice but to escape by bike. David knows he doesn't have much time, so he decides to stay behind and stop the zombies. After talking to his wife, he bravely enters the zombie horde. However, this only stops the zombie chase for a short while. Cassius retreats while fighting, carrying Megan in his arms. Just as the zombies are about to reach them, they suddenly see a human outpost. Evie understands that this is Ship Town. The guards at the outpost immediately take out their guns upon hearing the noise and start killing the attacking zombies. The black-faced zombie stops his companions from moving forward because there is a water path ahead and they cannot cross it. A little later, Cassius and the others reach the center of the camp by boat. Megan was about to deliver and needed immediate treatment. The good thing is that there are doctors and hospital facilities here. The next morning, both see the full view of this camp. A very large platform has been built by connecting several large ships away from land. And Cassius finally meets the camp in charge. He welcomes both of them to stay here but says that some rules must be followed. Cassius turns away without thinking. He feels that living on a deserted island is better. But Evie has decided to stay here. She longs to be with her peers. They have a big argument about this. Just then, the doctor comes and says that Megan has given birth to a daughter, but due to excessive bleeding, she might not live long. Cassius becomes sad and immediately runs to the hospital room. Megan is very weak and wants to entrust her newborn daughter to Cassius and wants her to grow up like Evie. Thinking about his dead wife, Cassius finally agrees to Megan's wish. He knows that he now has another responsibility on his shoulders. Meanwhile, Evie has a lot of fun for the first time hanging out with a handsome boy. She never thought that so many people could sit together, drink, and dance to beautiful music. So, her intention to stay here becomes even stronger. After having fun, Evie accidentally sees the handsome boy secretly going into a cabin. Curious, she goes inside and finds that the cabin is full of wires and bombs. A wireless switch is shining separately. Just then, the boy runs back and says that they have planted bombs under Ship Town. If this place ever gets into danger, people will escape through a secret passage and blow it up. But neither of them has any idea that this day will come so soon. That eccentric scientist's anger doesn't subside, and he joins forces with the black-faced zombie king through his control device. With the scientist's help, Ship Town's natural water defense becomes useless. Many zombies soon enter the Ship Town camp from underwater or with the help of boats. Many of the survivors are immediately killed in the sudden attack, and those who have nowhere to hide eventually become food for the zombies. Cassius worries about Evie and goes against the crowd looking for her. He moves forward killing zombies and finally finds her fighting on the deck. Perhaps in excitement, he accidentally collides with a zombie and falls down. The scientist who wanted revenge now appears. Finally, he gets his chance for revenge. But Cassius doesn't give up. He grabs the scientist's hand and hits him hard, breaking the weak device immediately. After losing the power to control zombies, the poor old scientist soon becomes a victim of the zombies. The good thing was that there was already an escape route in this camp. Many survivors reach the other side of the river through the tunnel. When they are about to activate the bomb, the handsome boy says to wait because Evie is still on the boat. While escaping, Cassius hits the zombie king with an oar. Evie accidentally sees a bracelet in the zombie's hand. Isn't this the same one she made with her own hands for her father? But the girl has no time to think, and Cassius forcibly pulls her into the tunnel. The handsome boy sees them escaping and immediately presses the wireless remote, and the entire ship town immediately turns into a fireball. However, everyone's fight is not over yet. The camp leader comes holding his neck because he was bitten by a zombie in the fight. Before the virus spread, the black-faced zombie had attacked him. Surprisingly, the zombie king also survived the explosion. Cassius immediately steps forward and confronts him. Evie picks up a gun from the ground and recognizes that the zombie king standing in front of her is her father. But he was trying to kill Cassius, who raised her. So Evie finally makes a decision and shoots the black-faced zombie king. Finally, he is no longer her father. Cassius looks at a deserted island in the distant sea with the remaining survivors, and they decide to build a new human settlement there. There is no doubt that the female zombie Cassius killed last time was Evie's mother. It can only be said that the entire story of the movie was full of coincidences. If you liked the story, please like and comment on the video.